Welcome to True House Stories. I'm Lenny Fontana coming out of Nueva York, New York City. And today I'm so proud to bring on this wonderful woman. Let me tell you a little bit about her pedigree. She started out behind the record counter and worked her way up in a time when decks with pitch adjust was the factor. No sync buttons yet. Remember, children, no sync buttons. What does that mean, syncing? That means a lot of people today became DJs because they didn't have to learn the art of mixing. And when we say mixing, beat matching and all that wonderful stuff that takes time with trucks crashing each other on the dance floor and people's necks going like this and not realizing how to put the records together, but it takes time. And it becomes what we call the art of blending and mixing. She worked her way up the ranks, and she was joined by wonderful DJs around her, other females like Lisa Lash's Smokin' Joe, and all the other great females. Colette, and they all came up during the night, okay? And a couple of key things happened for this wonderful lady. She became a mother and has a family. Wound up marrying a wonderful man who also in his own right is a legendary person himself, Mr. Charlie Chester. I'm not going to say nothing more, except because I want her to tell the story of her life, because it's important that we hear it from the actual person that lived it. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring to True House Miss Jo Mill.
Thank you. What a lovely introduction.
You're very welcome and you deserve it.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Welcome to the show. It took me a while. Last I spoke to you, you were in Asia DJing, which is wonderful,
Yes.
having a family and doing the circuit.
Doing the gigs and having a family holiday at the same time. But yeah, we were in Singapore.
God bless
Bali,
you, Mama. God bless you, Mama. God bless you.
Yeah, we had a brilliant time.
I know, because I couldn't catch you. It's like, Lenny,
I know.
I'll get my head around it. When I get back, I promise. It's like, and here's the funny part about this dynamic duo of husband and wife. Should I say Sonny Bono and Cher? It's more like Charlie Chester and Joe Mills. Here we go. Charlie was supposed to be on this show as well. I've been trying to track him down. They live with each other, children and all. Nobody mentions, did Lenny contact you? Did Lenny No. So they keep separate.
I'll lasso him and make him do it next.
Because his story is pretty big too. We've all worked for Charlie, so we want to hear his story too. But enough of that. Okay. I'm glad you're healthy, and I'm glad the children are growing. I'm going to hear how that came to be. How the hell does music find you as a young kid?
Well, I was brought up around beautiful soul music. My mum and dad always had Motown on. Barry White, massive in our family. Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight, the Four Tops, Stylistics, George Benson, all that era of music, it was always on in the house. So my real passion for music come from the soul music, and I'm a 1970s baby, so that's what I was surrounded with. And that's where my passion started for it,
70s baby, that's an organic time musically. I say organically because you got to remember, everyone at home, there was no computers home. There was no Googling. There was nothing of this sort. So it's basically radio and telly. And telly only had, I think, 4 channels in the UK.
Yeah, only 4 channels, yeah.
And 7 maybe on the FM dial.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I can't remember.
Whatever. BBC 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you had maybe Radio Luxembourg, because I've heard from other people along the way that were listening to shortwave.
But then my mum and dad were buying records. We had a record player, they were buying all the albums. I mean, they had a brilliant record collection. So we always had really good music on in the house, so they were really knowledgeable about what they loved. And also I've got an older sister who's 9 years older than me. And so I got my music knowledge from her as well, because she was a proper soul girl.
It's important, because it's nice having an older family member or a best friend that's leading the direction with music. So what
Yes.
was she listening to that you were being turned on to at the time?
Well, at the time, sorry.
At the time when you were, growing up, what was she listening to?
I mean, she was listening to real proper. She would be going to like proper Northern Soul dudes and like Nicky Holloway's Special Branch and 50s soul and really like unusual 7 inches, not so much mainstream stuff. She was a proper soul girl, touring going up and down the country to all the soul events.
So yeah, go ahead. So you were seeing that, getting the taste of the Northern Soul through her
Yeah.
music.
She loved all the Northern Soul and stuff like that. And she'd always be going to all the soul dudes because that was really what was predominantly was around at the time before house music come along in our area. It was the big soul movement, and all the soul boys then got into the house music. From where I'm from, is a big pool of DJs. It's the suburbs, sound of the suburbs.
So tell us all right, so now describe to us the suburban area where you come from and who's some of the friends that you're growing up with or people that you're watching coming up as DJs and stuff.
Time I didn't really get into being into the club music until I was in my 20s. But I mean, at the time, there was like, when I was working in the record shop, really, was when I was like with Terry Farley and Rocky and Diesel and Clive Henry. They were my sort of like the first DJs that I was like working with and knew about, really, more so with the house scene.
So tell us, what was the name of the shop you worked out of? And why did you go and get a job at the record shop?
Well, I was working in. I always loved buying music when I was a teenager and stuff. I was always travelling up to London to get get imports and stuff. And there was a lot of bootleg radio shows on in where I'm from in Slough, and I used to like going and buying all the vinyls and things. And then my friend of mine who I was working with, at the record clothes store that I was working at, she said to me, "I'll come to this club flying." So I was like, "Oh, I haven't really." I've been in clubs, but I hadn't really got into the proper acid house scene yet at age 20. And she took me to flying in Soho Theatre, Charlie's Club actually, Soho Theatre Club in Kensington. No, sorry, that's the other. Can we edit this? Because I'm getting myself in a...
Don't worry. This is what we love. No, because you know what? Don't worry. Just pick up. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Do you edit it though? Yeah. The club was Soho Theatre Club in London, and that was Charlie's Club at the time in 1990. It was absolutely fantastic. So I went there, and I was like, wow. Met Charlie. Initially, we were just friends at the time, and got into that scene. Was hooked immediately, and then was always going to the record store buying music. And then a job come up in the record store, and I went for it. And then I was there like 5 years, and it was like probably 5 of the best years of my life. It was just absolutely fantastic working in a record store. At the time, it wasn't like I never go on the female thing, but there wasn't so many of us women working in record stores at the time. Only because there wasn't so many women that I feel wanted to. But it was brilliant knowing all the music going out. I knew the catalogue numbers, everything I could listen to, and the knowledge of having that and working around the music at that time when everything was so rare. It wasn't strictly, you couldn't download it instantly. You had to spend a lot of money if you wanted to be a DJ. It was really special time working in the store.
When you walked into the Flying Club, Charlie's Club, was it like finding Jesus, the music and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite mad because I mean, I had been to clubs, but more main, that was like the proper, like, wow, this music. It was, and at that time, it wasn't so, it was eclectic. There's all kinds of styles of music. We didn't have separations of that style of house or this kind of techno. Everything was, it was just music, it was kind of, some of it was a bit indie, some of it a bit housey, some of it was Afro. It was all kinds of genres of music, but it wasn't really pigeonholed into a certain sound. It was just sort of, it was just had, I don't know, everything wasn't labelled. It was just free.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's annoying today that everything is genred now. Back then, it was just dance music. It was just dance. Just techno, house, whatever. Everybody played whatever they liked.
Yes, and everything was just all over. It was all over it wasn't all seamlessly mixed. It wasn't all the same beats. It was like anything could happen musically, and people weren't afraid to do that, to be a bit more open with it. And it was, yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful time for music.
So now that you're working in the flying shop and you found Jesus through Charlie's Club and all that, because I always say that first time when you walk into a place that you never walked into, it's like, oh my God, this really exists. It's that feeling, right? What drew you to wanting to become a mixing DJ, not just someone that sold records?
Well, I was in the shops. In the shop, of course, we would get the new music in, and we'd be playing it, and then people would sort of stand there, putting their hands up to grab one. And guys I was working with, Mark Wilkinson and Rocky and Clive, and they could all mix. And I was like, I really would like to learn. I just like to learn how to mix. Really, I wasn't thinking I wanted to be a DJ. I just really wanted to know how to put the two tracks together. And lucky for me, Mark Wilkinson stayed after work without the others knowing, because they'd probably rib me a bit. He used to stand next to me and clapping all night, because it was bloody hard mixing with vinyl. It's not like nowadays. And it took me quite a while, but once I got it, it was like, right. And yeah, he used to stand next to me clapping. Bless him. I'll always be grateful for him for that. And that was in 1991. Long time.
Okay, here's something that I wanted to ask you. You're a dancer first before you DJ'd, right?
No, I'm not a dancer.
You never danced on a dance floor?
No.
Because, in other words, to feel the beat, and I've always said this to people, that sometimes the ones that became DJs actually just danced and would know, maybe didn't understand how to count the beats. Because
I thought you meant dancer.
No, not dancer. No,
I thought you meant a dancer. No. Of course,
No,
I was a dancer.
I meant dancer meaning you went out clubbing with your handbag.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh goodness, yes. I can dance all right. But no, I thought you meant as a.
No. What I meant dancing meaning you knew,
Yeah, of course.
you could tell where the beats laid because you knew
Yeah.
when one was, where two was, right?
Yes. And also, when I was working in the shop, we used to do like mail order, and I used to do mail order and have my own clients where they would give me their credit card numbers, and I would select music that I thought they'd like. I had clients all over the world, Paris and all over Europe and stuff, and I'd send them the tracks, and they could send back what they didn't like. But in the end, I got to be quite knowledgeable about what they liked. So I had a good ear for knowing what people liked as well at the time,
I bet you did, and I bet DJs love talking to you because you are attractive, of course, at the time you're younger, and I bet you they were like in the record shop, they probably drawn to you like a magnet because,
I could just about see over the counter.
well, here's the thing. You spoke their language. You spoke
Yeah.
something, it's like a special language of knowing how to talk to a DJ, and that you know how to do after a while. Like you said, you knew exactly what to send to your clients,
Yes.
which made you an
Yeah.
excellent selector, right?
And I mean, thank you. Well, if you say so, thank you. I tell you what, they were bloody heavy. You just have to with the mailers. I have to go down to the post office with them in my bag, in my record bags, and post them off. And they could send back what they didn't want it, but yeah, a lot of the time they kept everything, which was good. I mean, they'd give me like £50 on their card, so it was quite a trust thing. And we had a Rolodex. There was no computers because I feel like to feel very old, but yeah, it wasn't like mail order or anything,
Wait.
It was
To the children at home that are a bit
female
younger,
order.
what exactly is a Rolodex?
Goodness, well, it's a file with the bits of paper in, and you put the name and addresses. You actually write the name and addresses and phone numbers on it, and put them in the alphabetical order, and flick through it when you need your clients.
So that was your ancient Google.
Your ancient Google, yeah, that you had to actually write.
You actually have a pen, put it close to the paper, and
Yeah.
technically write down.
Remember things.
Whoa! Imagine that now. Imagine if you had to
It's crazy,
remember
isn't
all
it?
these numbers, right?
I know it is mad.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, well, from there, then I started. I got some decks and I would make tapes. Actually, yeah, I wasn't initially thinking to become a DJ, but then of course you think when you can do it, you're like, oh, right, this maybe I could do something. And started doing a little few bars and things. And then I was in the shop and I was mixing, selling the tunes. And Steve Harvey from Club UK come in and said, "Oh, would you like to come and play at Club UK? I'm doing a third smaller room, female room. I don't always like the label of female DJ, but if it works, it works." So I went and played at Club UK, which is like my first big club gig, really, because I was doing little things. And then I started doing some of my own parties, and it kind of went from there, really. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. As you are when you're like 21 years old, you feel like you can do anything.
Sure. Was it nerve-wracking for you at first, and getting over the fact of playing in the record shop at home as opposed to playing in a big club?
Oh, goodness, yeah, it was so nerve-wracking. I mean, especially like mixing with vinyl is a different kettle of fish. I mean, of course, that's all I knew at the time, but it was still nerve-wracking, and you want to get it in, and and if you f it up, oh, it's difficult when you're nervous with vinyl. Yeah, it's a delicate matter, isn't it? Yeah, I was terrified.
Do you have any like tidbit stories that happened to you that with the vinyl that you said, "Oh Lord, I'll never let that happen again"?
Oh God, probably just loads of terrible mixing, I suppose. When starting out, goodness, we all done some terrible mixing with vinyl, but didn't kind of matter in those days, I think. But yeah, you know what? I can't remember. I think I might have stopped the wrong record a few times. That's definitely happened when I was starting out, and that's nerve wracking because it's a different to start it up again. But I can't remember, to be honest. I
I'll
probably
tell you
blocked it
one. I'll
out.
tell you one thing I remember that happened to me. That was the worst feeling. You're playing and you're talking to everybody with you,
Yeah,
and one thing you forget to do is, because you're playing with vinyl,
yeah,
is you forget to dust off the needle,
yeah. Oh, and it skids.
and it goes.
Yes. Oh my God,
You're like
yes. Yeah. And it collects the dust, doesn't it? And then, and it goes straight across yeah.
like an ice skating rink.
Yeah. Oh, and mine were always in the wrong sleeves and chaos. My record box,
See, I
always
know you
chaos.
remember. I knew you remember.
Yeah, chaos all in the wrong, and not all the inner sleeves were not in the right place, so they'd be a bit scratched. I was like a crazy painter with my records.
A
I wasn't
cat.
very
Yes.
organised.
It's like, what's the scratch on this shit? What?
Disorganised. Why is it in the wrong sleeve? But they all come together in the end.
Hang on. Who did this? Me.
Yeah. What's that noise? Oh, it's me.
So your Club UK, was that in Wolverhampton or that was in London? Where was it? Which?
No, that was in Wandsworth in London. That was in Wandsworth, London. It was a brilliant club at the time. That was in the early 90s. And then things sort of took off from there, really. I was making little tapes and selling them in Kensington Market, giving them out. Actual tapes, sounds really old fashioned. And then I did then Terry Farley booked me to play with, to warm up for Danny Tenaglia, which was amazing. And then from there, I sort of carried on being I started getting a lot more warm up gigs because warm up DJs it's a really important part of the night, which people don't sort of overlook. So I would get booked to warm up for a lot of the big acts, like at Full Circle or Ministry or things like that. For about 8 years, I was really happy being in that position because it's such an important part of the night to set the scene um, for the main act, really.
People don't realize that.
No,
They think it's like, well, the headline act is on. Well, what happened prelude to the headline act coming on?
yeah, exactly. But and also you just get them into the groove, don't you? Just get people coming in. You're not necessarily in their face. You're there, and it's setting the seat. It's warming things up. That's what as it says, warm up. So
Joe, not to be funny, and I'm going to be serious about this. There's been a few times where I walked in on some warm-up DJs, they were actually better than the main act.
Yeah.
Say that for myself. I've seen it myself.
Yeah.
So you're doing the English circuit. Were you
Yeah.
traveling up and down the up the coast, or were you just playing only in London at that period, at that stage?
No, I did. You know what? My memory's terrible. Yeah, it was more in London at that stage. It was more like yeah, London, Full Circle, which was in Slough, which is where Langley, Slough, where I'm from. And then I'd play, and then it started sort of. None of us were really early 90s. A lot of DJs weren't travelling around, to be honest. We were all sort of. There wasn't people weren't moving up and down the country that much at all. It was quite new, but yeah, that sort of come along further down the line, a few years.
So your legendary presence is also now that you live presently in Ibiza.
Yes.
But there was a time when Ibiza comes knocking at your door or you knock at its door. So give us that whole rundown of events that followed from you becoming the warm-up DJ to becoming the main DJ.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, then I mean, I did start travelling around in England a lot and start doing some European gigs. But really, what the turning point really for me was getting the residency at Circo Loco, because that then that's sort of pushed my career up into more like the main sets really, and that came about because we are really good friends with Cirillo, who was one of the residents at Circo Loco. And initially on the terrace, they wanted to have all female DJs. So he said, "Oh, do you want to come along?" So I went along after I played at Space, a bit bog-eyed, cross-eyed, and played alongside Tanya and some others. And in the end, they kept me and Tanya, and didn't go down the female route, just kept us as residents. And I got my residency alongside Tanya, and it went from there really, and that sort of propelled my career being there, which was mad but bloody good fun.
Oh, of course, I get, and we don't want to tell the kids, of course.
No.
So, of course, you got the chance to play at Space and Pacha and all the other clubs because of
Yeah,
this.
yeah, and then at that time, then I started playing it. I played for Cream in England already in Liverpool, and I got a residency for Cream at Amnesia. I think it was every week. I think it was a Thursday or Friday. So then I was doing that. Then I was doing Circo Loco, and then I'd play for Azuli at Space. I got a residency in Pacha London for a year, and then then I'd do guest spots, and then I did the Pacha compilation album with Pippi in 2001, and then the DC10 compilation album in 2002 with Cirillo. Yeah, and then I was just sort of regularly doing all the clubs in Ibiza, and then flying off at the weekends as well to work Friday and Saturday, maybe somewhere. Sometimes I'd fly. I remember flying to San Francisco for a night. It's crazy. I can't believe I did that. And come back in time to do DC10 again.
That's the life of jet setting.
Yes, well, we've all done it. You too, huh? Yeah. Wow. All those flights.
Tell them at home how hard that is. It's more the traveling than it was
It's
the
more
gig,
the
right?
travelling. Yeah, the travelling. I mean, I remember doing 9 flights in a matter of days. You know, it's like crazy. Yeah, the travelling. You travel so much, and then you do 2 hours, and you travel all the way back. Wonderful job. I mean, please don't think I'm complaining, but yeah, the travelling is extensive. But I was very lucky with my career because Charlie and I have seen the world. Because wherever he was been my manager.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I have not given him any credit here. Charlie, when I was first doing my DJing before DC10. Actually, I was doing gigs, and he said, "Well, he wasn't really so involved," and he said, "Well, let me get involved, and I'll get you more money and more gigs." And I went, "Oh," okay. And then he helped me because us DJs are not very good at promoting ourselves, are we? Old school ones, or getting ourselves, the work. So he took that role and did a fantastic job of it. And we've seen the world together because we always flew together. So I was very lucky that I didn't have to do it on my own, you know. all the travelling.
So he played the chaperone,
He was a tour
management.
manager.
So tell us about the relationship. How did this Charlie and Joe thing go from the clubbing experience to later on to become mom and dad of some children?
I don't know. I mean, we're always really good friends, and then we got together in 1996. I mean, if it wasn't for Charlie, I wouldn't be DJing. I mean, I went to his club, and as you know, it's mad how fate has worked. You know, getting the job, working for him in his record store, shop, is at Market. You know, that's how it all. And we were friends, and we got together, and yeah, I know we just been together so long. I can't remember. It's like going to be 30 years next year. But yeah, we just toured the world and stuff, and then kind of I kept putting off having a baby because I was so busy, and I knew once I fell pregnant, I wouldn't want to be traveling around, and and I was 39 when I fell pregnant, and I was like, right, I'm going to have to cancel all my gigs because I'm not flying around. I'm pregnant, and you know, it's not worth the risk. So yeah, it was a big step because I was the one where it was our job together. So it wasn't financially, it wasn't easy, but it's the best thing ever in the world. Of
Yes,
course,
children are.
of course,
Let's
yeah,
say this: children can be a blessing, and at the same time a pain in the.
yeah.
But we love them to death,
We
right?
love them, yes. I mean, you know, we left Circo Loco in 2006, and I'm glad because I tell you, I don't know if we would have survived if you know, it was quite mad. But it was perfect timing for us. And then fell pregnant in 2000. Had obviously having Rafi, and then took a step back for quite a number of years, just keeping my hand in. And then the lockdown came, and lost my dad in the lockdown, and I thought, oh, I need to get back into my music really properly. So for the last few years, I've been ramping it back up again.
You know, it's funny you say that because I did realize you were quiet for a bit. I didn't realize
Yeah.
you stepped kind of like mommy retirement, let's say, because
Yes.
you didn't really retire. You just
No.
put like a
Yeah.
and good on you as a good mother would put their child first and everything else is paused for the moment.
Yes.
You want to come back in? You really wholeheartedly, or was it scratching at you, or you were like,
Yeah. I kept it. I mean, I didn't really want to. Oh, yeah, I wanted to be a mum, and it's dedicated my time to him. You know, and I couldn't go off flying around like I used to. And I was a mum for 10 years. We had Essential Ibiza, so we had our business here, and I did a few little things, but I just was sort of keeping my hand in it. I wasn't really not. Wasn't really bothered about. I've never had. Haven't had to chase it because I stepped out myself, which is great because it's I know it can be soul destroying when you're not getting the gigs coming in and stuff. But I wasn't bothered because I wanted to be a mum fully. But then, as I say, I must admit, like in lockdown, having all that time in the house and all this, you know, and we lost the Essential Ibiza, and I was like, I just need to get back out there and get back, to
get
get
back
Joe
to
Laws back
basics,
out
right?
again.
Get back up. Now, here's the difference of back then in the 90s, and now you step out, and here you are in today's game. What was the social media part for you like to put back in place? Because that seems to be more important now than actually knowing how to play music, you know, in a
Oh
sense.
goodness, yeah. I mean, like in 2009, it wasn't that. I mean, it was around, but I wasn't very bothered about it. Wasn't really doing loads with it. Uh, and yeah, now it's. I mean, I've had to get my head round Insta in the last. I know that sounds terrible because, well, I shouldn't even have to say that, but it's like it's everyone looks at your Instagram, don't they? It's like you have to have everything on there. You have to keep it up. You have to have the friends, and it's a challenge, and I'm not really. I've always found it I don't want to be putting up loads of pictures of myself or I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but it kind of feels like it's what you're meant to be doing all the time. So yeah, I find it a bit stressful, to be honest. But
It's kind of the mentality like, hey, I'm a country girl. I ain't no city girl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to do that. Like, I don't
well,
got to
I
do
am a
that.
city girl, but I just don't want to be like I'm not a show off
Oh, I'm
girl.
like country. I don't need to be doing that. That's not what I'm part of. You know, it's like I'm part of a select few of female DJs. Or should I say the men that played alongside me as well. That we
Yeah.
didn't need to prove this nonsense of, hey, I'm taking a picture with such and such, or I just bought a new thing. Right?
No, exactly. We're behind the decks. We're playing music. It's about the music, you know. And we're in a
Not
dark. I
now.
love the dark corner. In the dark
Not
corner,
now.
playing the music,
Not
not
now.
standing there dancing around like a. Like I mean, I do dance around. I always have, but I'm not. But it's not about me and all the 400 people behind me. It's about them out there.
Let me ask you this question. Being of understanding the actual craft and honing the craft. When you see someone that's got their breasts out, skimpy outfits, and you know the pioneers are not on, what are you thinking?
Well, I just think, well, good luck. And honestly, I think, well, what can you do? I mean, the thing is, the technology now does it all for you. So why wouldn't they do it? I mean, they don't. It's just plug and play, right? It's the technology. You can buy the music for €1 each, 1, €2. I mean, like when we started out, to be a DJ, you had to spend a lot of money. And I mean, I worked out that I mean, the records when I was at Flying Records store record shop. I mean, they were like £7, £8 a record. That's like £18 nowadays. You know, if you wanted to be a DJ, you needed to spend a shitload of money, and or even the fans of the music at that time were spending like £100 on records. It's a lot of money, and now you can just spend 20 quid and get yourself a set. You know. So I understand it's just accessible to everybody. So there's going to be people that are going to do it, and they're earning so much money. So I can't really. It's I don't compare it to what I've done. If you see what I mean, you know.
Okay, so let me ask this one. Are you disheartened by all of it at all?
I can be a bit, of course. You know, I'm only human, but you know, I'm a creative person. I don't always full of self confidence, but I don't compare it to what I've done, and it's a different kind of thing to what I'm doing. So I kind of there's not it's not like I'm trying to be one trying to I'm not battling anymore to keep up there. You know, I don't have to worry. At the level I'm at, I'm quite happy. I'm being a mum and I'm doing my gigs, and I'm not aspiring to try to be back out there like I was. I'm doing it at the right level, you know. So it doesn't affect me too much, because it must be really disheartening for DJs that are coming along and who really are sorry, but who aren't just putting two tracks together, who are actually properly DJing, and it's just saturated with it. So yeah, that is sad. That it's not fair on the people with the real gift. Does that sound spiteful? Sorry.
No, it's the truth. No, look, you know what?
Yeah,
And you've also surmised to the fact that this is where you're at, and
yeah,
it's a comfortable place to be at,
yeah. I
and
do. Yeah,
and you're able to maintain it.
yeah. Exactly. I do. I do really brilliant gigs. I've got my own parties here. A scooter that I do every Sunday at the Standard. Plug that. Escucha means listen in Spanish. My Spanish is dreadful, by the way, and that's going really well. And I've been touring in Asia, and I've got some brilliant gigs in England. So for me, I'm not chasing it, you know, but I can see it's difficult, very difficult now for anyone who's wants to do it the right way, to get anywhere, to get forward. In my opinion, if they
And I
want to do
think
it the right way.
you're correct about that because I also see it from a different perspective. It feels like a very young person's game now. Again.
Yes, yes, and it's throwaway. I've noticed there's I've seen a lot of DJs. I think, where have they gone all of a sudden? You know, it's very throwaway. It's like your next best thing. There's another one. It's like it's scrolling,
It's
isn't it?
exactly right. You're
It
right. It's a
is.
flash generation. It's like,
Yeah, it's gone. Off you go. Next one. Next one. The next new,
next.
no, the next new tricky name, and you know that's the next one. Next one. Put out a track. Next one. It's very throwaway, but that's the nature of the beast now. I think you know. So I think they must grab it while they can, make loads of money.
Yeah, there's only a few that can keep it together for the longevity part of it.
Yes, exactly. Look, keeping it. I mean, I'll always pride myself in that. That I've kept my, I kept going, and I've kept my, I've made it my way. You know, I've not sold out.
That's what makes you you, because if you sold out, you wouldn't still be here and able to
Yeah.
do what you do because, let's face it, you can't take away 35 plus years of grinding.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's grinding. You grind it even with
Yeah.
motherhood. You grind. You're taking your kid to football. You're making sure he's covered. You're making sure, bills are paid with Charlie. You're trying to figure out where's the
Yeah.
next income coming in. This is a juggling game. It's a
Yes,
juggling game.
exactly. Yeah, it is. It is. No, it wasn't instant for me. I worked hard.
You did? No, you didn't work hard. No, it was handed to you. You're part of your lucky silver club. It was given to you like this. Here you go on a platter. So we're at the point now in your life where you're pretty comfortable and maintaining, and you can maintain this. Do you still want to keep going at this pace, or do you want to say, after a while, I'm just gonna, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know really. I'm always. I mean, I've said it for years. I'm like, oh, that's. I mean, I think we've all done the odd. Oh, that's. I've had enough now, and then you come back again. Oh, I've had enough now. Come back again. But it's what I've always done. I don't really know. I've always been in music, and I love it.
I think you stop. I think what's happening is the phone's making you for another gig coming.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about
It's,
that.
it's okay.
Interruptions. What were we saying? Yeah, no. I will see. I mean, look, I'm. I am ambitious, so always been ambitious. So you never know. I might have a renaissance. I mean, I have got my tracks in. A track I did with Matty Swartz from 2001, Fortune 500, Dance in the Dark, has been signed to Defected. So you never know.
Congratulations.
I might have a see what happens. You know, I'm not never say never with anything. You don't know. I mean, I do find it's really refreshing to see like DJs like Terry Farley and Danny Tenaglia, Carl Cox, still playing in their 60s, you know, still as strong as ever. It's wonderful. I do think, I know it's a lot of young people, but I do feel that we can still keep going and I can still keep going. There was a time when I thought, am I getting a bit old? Then I'm like, no, that's just in your head.
Well, it's funny because I've always looked at Madonna
Yeah.
as a muse in a way. I said, if she could keep going and
Yeah.
Cher could keep going,
Yeah.
why the
Yeah.
hell can't we all keep going?
No, exactly. I think that's really great that there's not the ageism of. I don't think there is ageism in the music industry. With
I mean, there is technically,
yeah, okay, but there is everything,
quietly,
isn't there? But I'm just trying to be a. No,
quietly, not
yeah,
really announced.
okay.
Like, for example, Radio 1 doesn't like to play anyone's music. For example, like if Madonna puts out a brand new album, they don't play it because they don't feel pop wise.
Really?
Yeah.
That's terrible. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's
Really?
crazy. I'm talking about not on Pete Tong's show or the special shows.
Yes, yes.
I'm
No, I know what you
talking
mean.
about daytime
Yes.
rotation work. It's just because I guess the programming direction is we're looking to the Kendrick Lamars and the new people. You know what I mean? That's
Yes.
where this is
Yes.
going.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a shame, isn't it?
But it is. Look, it doesn't stop her from going
No, no,
around
you're
making
right. Yeah,
600.
you're right. That's what I mean. You just can't let it bother you. You know, you've just got to get on and do your thing. You know, it's how life is. You can't fight us against it. So it's
Exactly.
you just do you. You know.
Well, I mean, look, Joe, we can't help to wish you the best on the comeback, and it's a wonderful comeback that you made a great decision to come back because you were missed. I
Was
had
I?
wondered what happened because I remember seeing your name alongside Colette and all those names that were, bubbling in all the big UK parties. And I said, I wonder what happened to Joe. But then all of a sudden I started to see you popping back up, and it was like, good on you, love. Good on you. And congrats. Keep doing what you're doing and keep Charlie in good shape because he needs he needs someone to be an impaler. You know what I
You
mean?
know what? He's been boxing this morning. He rode all the way to Ibiza town, did his boxing, and rode all the way back.
Good. Good. He needs to stay
He's
fit.
looking good. Yeah, he's looking good. He's looking after himself.
Good, good. Both of you need to. And here at True House Stories, you are a true legend of the
Thanks,
game.
my darling. Appreciate that.
And we wish you another 25 to 50 years of more playing and success for the grandchildren and the great grandchildren. You know what? Because in the history books are written, you should be definitely there as one of those heroine females that came up the ranks.
Oh, thank
You
you.
know,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
and here, yes, anything to plug, any more stuff? I think you covered everything, right?
Got everything in there. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, look out for my remix coming out on Defected this year.
So
And
actually, you are doing studio work again. I mean, that's something as well.
well, I am going to be getting back in the studio. I haven't as much as I'd like, but yeah, I'm gonna get myself back in the studio because I so enjoy it. It really is. It's good, isn't it? It's good for the and you too. You said you were going to get back in too, so we'll exchange music.
Yes, we will. On in True House Stories, we want to give Joe Mills a wonderful thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
And
Thank you for
tune in
having
each and
me.
every time for these wonderful people that share their lives with us on this show. Take care for now.
Bye,
Bye
darling.
bye.
Thank you.
Perfect.